We're here at Open Sauce 2025, and the plan is to ask everyone one simple question. What is your most expensive mistake?
Most expensive mistake? I bought a motor driver and I didn't want to spend money on an expensive one, so I think I spent $200 on a knockoff one, but it's a knockoff, so it ended up not working, and so I had to throw it away and actually buy the real one for $300. I spent $500 in total on that video.
So a lot of mistakes I've made, I'll try and just go with them so I don't have to backtrack, but there was this one project, I was trying to make this fold-out metal shield on my arm, and like it was intricately had to put together. There was like an order, it all had to sit down, absolutely perfect. And the shaft that run through it, which was central to holding it all together, that snapped. So then I had to redo the whole thing, take it all to bits, put it back together, and remake the shaft out of something a little bit stronger and go again. Probably cost me a day. But normally, if I make a mistake, I'll just change the project so it kind of absorbs the mistake.
I once destroyed the chuck on a lathe worth about $750. Just left the auto feed on that's a bit too long and slam.
My most expensive mistake mostly cost to my investors $11.5 million. When I was 25, I decided to make a startup in the area of converting algorithms into hardware. This was a very, very hot topic.
Stop killing the doctor.
So I created a clean prototype, then I got private investments, then I got next year VC investment from Sofino Ventures, and I worked with HP, but they did negative evaluation, but then we got venture money anyway, first like $1.2 million, and then
My most expensive mistake was getting a bachelor degree in business administration, kind of useless. It cost me 20,000 euros for a 2-year bachelor that I'm not using because I'm in the arts industry.
We were selling this to Fujitsu, Hitachi, and then we got more investment from Intel Capital and Altera. But the problem is that the tool what I created was not practical.
When I was 15, I thought it would be really cool to have this high-powered mini bike motorcycle that could drive before I had my license, and it could go like 65 miles an hour. I didn't realize if I waited like 6 months, got my license, and spent like $200 more, I could have got a real motorcycle, like $700.
Like eventually when .com crash happened in the year 2001, we did fire sale of our tool to the largest company in the business, Synopsys. But then it was integrated into their tool, but then like it vanished. But the point of my story is that
I bought 2 Raspberry Pis with Wi-Fi, and I thought I need them for a project, but I ended up not using them at all, so they're sitting in a box in my closet. It costs around $100. I'm a student, so that's a pretty big expense.
I simply didn't see it because I didn't have enough experience in the industry. So before doing any startups like this, I had to spend at least a couple of years being on the position of a customer to actually do designs by myself. So now we are doing this like open source project, teaching people how to avoid my mistake.
Thank you. A lot of people have mistakes that cost money, and a lot have mistakes that cost time. So I'm giving them the option to answer about either, or both.
Well, mistake was not learning about mecanum wheels. It took me about 6 months of troubleshooting to figure out his wheel system. So in terms of time, that was the most costly mistake.
I spent $100 making shirts like this, and I only made 3 of them. Bought like a screen for it, and I ruined the screen right after.
In May, we launched this L1 right here. It went 2,000 feet in the air. And we also launched an L2, which went about 8,000 feet in the air, but we had a flight computer in there and a GPS, and the GPS malfunctioned, and we saw the parachute come out, and then it went like below some clouds, and then we lost the whole rocket. We were driving out in the desert for like an hour trying to find it, and we didn't even find the rocket. Around $2,000.
Our back power charges blew right through the parachute, sent it crashing down, bent it up bad, smashed up the nose cone right here, $6,000.
We had an injector similar to this, except made out of steel. The injector burned all the way through in the back and ended up exploding. A lot of hours.
Above $1,000 at the very least.
Well above $1,000.
Well above that.
Yeah. Man, rockets are expensive. That's what we learned.
I had spray foam insulation put on my ceiling in my workshop, and now it pops constantly for like 3 years. And that cost $14,000, so that was my most expensive mistake.
Buying my car, because it costs more money to fix it than it did to buy it. Just this last week, I spent like $1,600 to fix it again.
I one time had a bunch of robots break that I designed and built at an event for Google in China. And I stayed up all night for 2 nights in a row, rewinding spools of fishing line in a robotic hand, and it was a nightmare.
I accidentally created 50 PCBs with a trace connected straight to ground because I didn't see it go through the pin. $400 or $500.
I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho!
So, I'm not proud of this, but I was part of the team that sent the ice cream ingredients into space, and we made ice cream. There is a video about it, and I promise it happened, but we totally forgot to turn the camera on, so we spent a lot of money sending ice cream into space, and we don't have a single photo or video of the space ice cream in space.
I bought a really expensive AR apparatus called Magically. I think it was like $1,500, $2,000, something like that, because I was going to make content out of it, but I still haven't made content out of it.
I bought a car without barely looking at it. Engine exploded.
I think my most expensive mistake was I baked my cell phone. I was making a meal for my kids, and it was just a lot going on, and my phone ended up on the tray. I put it in the oven, and when it came out, it was baked.
One of my biggest mistakes was building a combat robot for BattleBot, and it used hydraulic crusher with a gasoline engine and all the hydraulics. I spent about $5,000 on it, but it was too heavy to compete. I didn't make weight.
It was this beautiful stained glass window commission, and I cracked it. I totally left it in the car. I shouldn't have. It warped. It cracked. I tried to fix it. It got worse. So I had to make it all from scratch in just a couple days because it was due. And now it sits in my apartment and stares at me. And I feel shame. It was around my month's rent, so $2,000. I did do the kintsugi method and added gold into the crack, and so there is some hope in there, and it looks beautiful and renewed, but they definitely didn't want to buy it.
My most expensive mistake was going to film school, and it cost me probably about $90K, which isn't actually bad compared to a lot of my friends. Oh my gosh.
I saw a tractor on Craigslist. It's about a $16,000 tractor brand new, but they had it for $6,000. The guy just had it running enough to where it just turned on, and we never put it through a stress test. We bring it back home, and then we figure out that pretty much it needs a lot of work. The full fix, the cost and everything, I would say was probably about $15,000, $16,000. It would just been the same price to buy one brand new and with a warranty, everything.
Doing YouTube.
I'm Leo Heuring. I have a robotic dog right here, and I have an automatic CNC whiteboard. And my most expensive mistake was running this on a Raspberry Pi 3 because it broke a lot of the hardware when I started actually trying to run it. It probably cost me around $100 of different parts that I had to do, as well as just a lot of wiring that took days to fix.
I bought a pre-war Chrysler for $1,200, and so far it's raked up $4,000 worth of money.
Does it run?
No.
I didn't properly check the check engine light soon enough, and by the time I took it in, to repair it would cost more than the car cost in itself, which is about $5,000-ish.
Once we inverted a servo connection on one of our electronics, and there was no reverse polarity protection, so it blew up and we lost a couple $100.
It was Anime Expo of 2017, so it was 117 degrees out. Overwatch was at its peak popularity, and I had made a Mercy staff that rotated and changed colors like the one in the game, right? I've spent months of my life working on this project. I'm so excited. I'm going to go on this convention. And if you're a cosplayer, you know that the one biggest op that you have is con security when they want to check your prop. I give him my staff, and he's looking at it, and he looks at it like there's a bomb inside, and he looks at me and he's like, do you mind if I look at it, or what's making it spin? And I'm like, oh yeah, I can show you. It's a polar motor. It's just in there. And I give it to him, and right then and there is when I knew I fucked up. And he takes my staff, looks at me, in the eye. So this felt personal. Looks me in the eye, takes my staff, and rips it open, the top part. And I just watch it stop spinning. I'm standing, watching this guy just crush my dreams, and I'm he's just oh, oops, my bad. So he hands it back to me, and I'm sitting at hundreds of dollars, many hours, just ripped in half. It didn't work right ever since then.
I was getting drones, and I started buying a lot of flight controllers, and a lot of them, burned out.
You know, when you're starting off, start slow, not fast. Probably like $2,000. A lot of burned up flight control, I ain't gonna lie.
I have did a lot of prototypes for the condiment cannon, and one of the early prototypes was a belt-driven design. So I spent like hundreds of dollars on like all CNC machine parts for these belts, and booted it up, and on the first try, it did not work. So I lost like a month of my time, couple $100, but at the end, you know what, you gotta get your first failure out of the way, and then you can finally get your finished product.
Professionally, I overdrove the input on a phaser network analyzer that we got for RF testing. Was about a $250,000 piece of test equipment, cost like $30,000 to repair.
For my 3-pound combat robot, the weapons modules are about $400 each, and I ordered 2 entire ones of them that were the wrong tolerances. That's $800 down the drain.
I'm on a robotics team, and I didn't check the work holding my friend set up correctly once, and on our CNC, and the part came off while it was cutting, and it instantly killed a $3,000 spindle. Best paperweight.
So we decided that we wanted to come to OpenSauce, and we thought, why don't we submit and try to exhibit at a booth, and that way we don't have to pay entry fees. And I think we spent way more on putting the whole thing together than we would have just buying tickets.
My most expensive mistake, I'm still currently dealing with. I glued up a table that I've been working on, but I did not accurately account for the glue squeeze out. Now I have to remove all of the glue squeeze out that got onto the painted wood and acrylic from the table without destroying it. And at my current pace, it's probably gonna be about a 12-hour process. But mistakes happen, and that's what we learned today. Thanks for coming with me to OpenSauce. Like and subscribe, go make some mistakes.